Look at me, Aasiya. I gave you everything. The gold on your neck, the palace you sleep in, the very air you breathe. It all belongs to me. And you choose to bow to the god of a shepherd? You choose a lord you cannot see over the king standing right in front of you?
You are just a man, Fir'awn. A man who will one day be dust.
Then let her have her grave. Rip out the nails. If she will not bow to the god of Egypt, she will die in the dirt.
This was the heart of the man who claimed to be God. A man so fragile that he had to kill his own wife to prove he was powerful. But once the doors of the torture chamber opened, the mask went back on.
O my people, does not the kingdom of Egypt belong to me? Do these rivers not flow beneath my feet? I am your highest lord. There is no god for you, except me.
Egypt had a ruler who didn't only want obedience, he wanted ownership over the land, over the people, even over the river that gave Egypt life. Egypt was the strongest nation of its time, cities built along the Nile, fields that produced wealth, markets full, palaces not made of stone, but of arrogance. And at the center of it all, one man, Firon.
How dare they leave without permission? Gather all the forces at once! We will pursue them!
He thought he was a god. He thought he was the smartest man in the world. But he was hiding his own end, in his own home. This is a story about the arrogance that makes a man blind to the very truth in front of his eyes.
Musa speaks to me of a lord in the heavens? How strange. I have looked at the sky every day of my life, and I have never seen anyone up there giving me orders.
Everyone knows how the king of Egypt died.
I believe in the Lord of the Banī Isrā'īl.
But very few understand the series of choices that made that ending inevitable. Firon was not a ruler with limited reach. He controlled Egypt entirely, both politically and socially, at a time when Egypt was one of the most powerful civilizations in the world. At that time, Egypt was a superpower, wealth, armies, and stability built around the Nile. Firon sat at the center of that system. From the highest officials to the lowest guards, his word shaped what could happen and what could not. In Egypt, no one moved, no one spoke, and no one breathed without fear of consequence.
My lord, the workers in the east are complaining. They say the quotas are impossible and they ask for a day of rest. If they have time to complain, they have time to think. And if they have time to think, they forget who owns the ground they stand on. Increase the quota. Let them learn that their breath is a gift from me, not a right.
His authority was supported by a structured system. Officials, soldiers, and administrators carried out his orders without resistance, allowing him to impose decisions across the land without challenge. As Egypt's power grew, so did Firon's confidence. Over time, authority turned into arrogance, and leadership turned into absolute control. In that society, Firon was not treated as an ordinary king. Political loyalty and religious devotion blended together until obedience was no longer just expected, it was believed.
Why do you look to the clouds for rain? The Nile rises because our king commands it. He is the provider. To doubt his word is to doubt the very food in your mouths.
The Nile played a central role in this. It sustained agriculture, trade, and life itself, turning desert into wealth and allowing Egypt to flourish while surrounding lands struggled. And beneath that prosperity lived one people under constant pressure, Banī Isrā'īl. They were separated from the rest of society and reduced to forced labor. Their men were worked until exhaustion became normal, day after day, year after year. Their women were spared, not out of mercy, but to ensure the system of control could continue.
Why do we let the women live? They are just more mouths to feed. Dead women don't make babies. Use your head. It's not about today, it's about making sure this empire never runs out of hands.
This deliberate imbalance, comfort at the top, suffering below, became the foundation of Firawn's rule, and for a long time it appeared to work. Until one night, Firon saw a dream. He saw a fire spreading from the direction of Beit al-Maqdis. It moved across the land, burning the houses of Egypt, while the homes of Banī Isrā'īl were left untouched. He woke up shaken. Firon didn't treat it like a passing dream. He treated it like a warning. By morning, the palace was filled. Scholars, astrologers, and advisors were summoned, their only task to explain the dream's meaning.
The silence is getting expensive. Explain the dream. Do you think I gathered the wisdom of Musa to watch you tremble? Speak, or I will find a more useful tongue in someone else's head. My lord, the vision is not about the land. It is about lineage. Tell me the rest. A child will be born among Banī Isrā'īl. Through his hands, your kingdom will be destroyed. Everything you have built, your power, your wealth, your name, will end.
This was not rebellion. There was no army, no uprising, just a birth.
If the danger is a future child, then we simply ensure that the future never arrives.
Firon understood exactly what that meant.
Every newborn boy from Banī Isrā'īl will be killed. Let the girls live to serve us. But the boys, search every house. If a child breathes his first breath today, let it be his last.
The order was not symbolic, it was enforced. Pregnant women were watched. Soldiers were sent door to door, listening for the sound of a cry. Birth itself became a death sentence. Fear moved from the palace into the streets, and what had begun as a dream turned into blood. By the time the decree spread across Egypt, Banī Isrā'īl were no longer just oppressed, they were marked for extinction. By sunrise, it wasn't just an order in a throne room.
If it had been last year,
Don't say it.
it's the danger year. Open it! Open it!
Open the door!
Any pregnant woman in this house? You, come here!
Please let me go!
Don't do this, I beg you. Leave her alone.
It wasn't only soldiers. A network formed around the decree. People who listened, watched, reported. Midwives were pressured. Some were threatened. Some were bought. Some became informants.
We've seen where you go. We know which doors you knock on after dark. Tell us what you know, and this ends quietly.
I only help women.
Inside the homes of the Banī Isrā'īl, pregnancy was no longer a blessing. It was a secret you had to hide for 9 months.
Did you hear about the house in the north? They searched it again. 3 days after the birth.
Lower your voice. The walls have ears this year.
This was the part people forget. Firon didn't only want bodies under control, he wanted time under control, the future. And the fire kept spreading, until even Firon's advisors began to panic, because cruelty has a cost, and their empire ran on slave labor. If every boy was killed, Banī Isrā'īl would eventually disappear, and the labor would disappear with them.
My lord, if we kill everyone, the workforce will collapse. The people we use will vanish. And then the projects stop. The fields stop. The building stops. Then speak your solution. Alternate the years.
1 year, the boys are killed. The next year, they are spared. Enough survive to work. Enough die to keep them weak.
A compromise so cold it could only be made in a palace. Firon accepted it, and this is where it becomes even more painful. because now Banī Isrā'īl didn't just fear soldiers, they feared the calendar. According to these reports, Harun alayhi salam, the older brother of Musa alayhi salam, was born in a safe year when boys were not killed. But Musa alayhi salam was destined for the next year, the year of slaughter.
If it had been last year,
Don't say it.
it's the slaughter year.
So, when that year came and the decree returned to full force, the terror wasn't a surprise, it was expected. And in that year, under that law, one woman from Banī Isrā'īl became pregnant with a boy. In the killing year, even pregnancy became something you tried to hide. You hid your face, you hid your belly, you hid your joy. But eventually, the secret could no longer be hidden. In the dead of night, behind locked doors and muffled walls, a new life began in the shadows. A boy in the killing year, a boy under a decree.
Quiet, my love! Quiet!
In that moment, she wasn't thinking about the future. She was thinking about the next 10 minutes. Because it was enough for a cry to travel and soldiers to follow. This is the moment when Allah intervened, not with an army, not with a miracle in the sky, but with guidance in a mother's heart. Allah inspired the mother of Musa alayhi salam. Feed him, and when you fear for him, put him into the river. Do not fear and do not grieve. We will return him to you, and we will make him one of the messengers.
It's not the river I'm afraid of.
She fed him in secret, and every day the fear grew. Because the older he got, the harder it became to hide him. A baby doesn't understand decrees. A baby doesn't understand killing year. The threat was closing in.
You promised. My Lord. You promised.
No mother is built for this, but she did it. She placed her child into the chest and set it onto the Nile. Her heart nearly gave out. She was close to running after it, close to screaming who he was, until Allah strengthened her.
Follow it. Don't let anyone notice you. Just tell me where it goes.
The chest floated and floated until it reached the one place it should never have reached, the palace.
Look! Something has come from the river.
In a killing year, that cry should have meant death. But Allah placed something else into that moment.
Stay back. Don't touch him.
A Hebrew boy. You know the law, Aasiya. No boy survives this year.
He was inclined to end it there. But Aasiya spoke before the order could form.
He is a comfort for my eyes and for yours. Do not kill him. Perhaps he will be a blessing to us, or we can take him as our own son.
The decree maker spared the child, and he didn't realize he had just brought the prophecy into his own home. But there was a problem. The child would not drink, not from the richest or the healthiest women in the palace.
Shall I direct you to a household who will care for him sincerely?
And with that, the sister ran straight back to the one person in Egypt whose arms this child trusted, his mother. They gave her the child, and the moment he touched her, he latched on, calm, feeding, as if the palace had never existed. Allah returned the child to his mother, exactly as promised. And the most dangerous part of it all? Firon didn't just spare Musa. He placed him under palace protection. He paid for his milk, and in the very house that ordered the killing, the child of the killing year was being raised as a prince. Years passed, and in the same palace that ordered the killing of boys, the boy grew up. Musa alayhi salam was raised under palace protection. He ate their food, he wore their clothes, he walked through rooms built by the hands of his own people, the Banī Isrā'īl. But outside those walls, the decree never really left. It just changed forms. And when Musa alayhi salam reached full strength, he wasn't just strong in body, he had a conscience that wouldn't let him look away. One day, he entered the city and saw something that Egypt had made normal. A man from Banī Isrā'īl being overpowered by an Egyptian. It wasn't a fight, it was a beating.
Help me! For the sake of mercy, help me against him!
That plea hit Musa alayhi salam like a blade. He stepped in.
This doesn't concern you, Prince. Stay in your palace.
But oppression always concerns the one who still has a heart. Musa alayhi salam didn't mean to kill him, but he was powerful and the blow was final. For a second, Musa alayhi salam stood there frozen, like his own strength had shocked him. Then reality hit.
This is from the work of Shaitan. He is a clear, misleading enemy.
In that moment, he didn't run to his palace, he ran to Allah.
My Lord, I have wronged myself, so forgive me.
And Allah forgave him. But forgiveness doesn't erase consequences in a world ruled by tyrants. Because in Egypt, the law didn't care if it was accidental. A dead Egyptian was a dead Egyptian. Now here inside the court, the chiefs began to discuss one decision only: execution. And then Allah sent Musa alayhi salam help from the last place you'd expect. A man came running from the far end of the city.
The chiefs are plotting to kill you. Leave, now. I am advising you sincerely.
There was no time to argue, no time to gather anything. The palace that had raised him was now preparing to bury him.
My Lord, save me from the wrongdoing people.
And with that prayer, Musa alayhi salam left Egypt. Not as a prince, not as a protected name, but as a fugitive walking into the desert with nothing except Allah. Firon thought the threat was a baby. He never imagined the real threat would grow up in his own house and then vanish beyond his reach. But the story wasn't over. It was only moving to the place where Allah prepares his prophets. Musa alayhi salam left Misr with nothing, and for the first time in his life, there were no palace walls behind him, no guards, no name that opened doors, just a man walking into open desert, wanted, alone and exposed. Days and nights passed like that, days and nights until Egypt felt like a mirage behind him. He wasn't running toward comfort, he was running toward survival. He headed toward Madyan, outside Firawn's reach, a place where Misr's law couldn't follow. And when he reached Madyan, he didn't arrive at a palace, he arrived at a well. It was chaos, strong men forcing their way to the front. And then Musa alayhi salam noticed something that didn't fit. Two women standing far back, holding their sheep, waiting for a gap that would never come.
What's the matter with you? Why are you not watering your flock?
We can't water until the shepherds finish. And our father, he is an old man.
That was all he needed to hear. No long conversation, no long speeches, just a situation that was wrong. He pushed forward and did what no one expected. He drew water for them, strong enough to force his way through the crowd, and clean enough in character that he didn't use that strength to humiliate anyone. And after that burst of effort, Musa alayhi salam walked away from the crowd and sat under the shade of a tree, not like a hero, like a man with nothing left. And there alone, hungry, and with no idea where his next meal would come from, he made a simple dua that carries the weight of a whole life.
My Lord, I am in desperate need of whatever good you send down to me.
He didn't know that Allah was answering that dua before he even finished it.
My father invites you, so he may reward you for watering our flock.
And on the way to her home, Musa alayhi salam made a choice that showed who he really was. He asked her to walk behind him so his eyes wouldn't linger on her as she moved. Not because anyone was watching, but because he knew Allah was watching. When Musa alayhi salam reached the home, he met their father, an upright elder. The Quran doesn't name him, but many scholars identify him as Shu'aib alayhi salam. What matters is what he represented: safety, decency, a house not built on tyranny. Musa alayhi salam told him everything: his flight, his fear, the mistake that pushed him out of Misr.
Do not fear. You have escaped from the wrongdoing people. You are safe here.
For the first time in his life, Musa alayhi salam breathed like someone who might actually live.
My father, hire him. The best one to hire is the one who is strong and trustworthy.
Strong, they had seen at the well. Trustworthy, they had seen on the road, and in his manners, and in his honesty. Then the Shu'aib alayhi salam made an offer that changed Musa alayhi salam life. Not charity, a future.
I wish to marry you to one of my 2 daughters, on the condition that you work for me for 8 years. And if you complete 10, that is from you. I do not wish to make it difficult for you. If God wills, you will find me righteous.
That is between me and you. Whichever term I complete, there will be no injustice to me. And Allah is witness over what we say.
And just like that, the fugitive became family. The man running for his life was now working with his hands, living clean, building a home. Musa alayhi salam spent years in Madyan, years that weren't wasted time. This was training, patience, control, a heart being rebuilt away from Musa's poison. And according to many reports, he completed the full 10 years, finishing his word with excellence, not just obligation. But no matter how far he went, Musa stayed behind his eyes. Banī Isrā'īl was still there, Firon was still there, and Musa alayhi salam knew, sooner or later, the story would pull him back.
I need to return.
So Musa alayhi salam left Madyan with his family and turned toward Musa. But on that road, on a cold, dark night, the desert did what it always does. It swallowed direction. They lost their way near a mountain, in a valley that would soon become sacred in history. Then Musa alayhi salam saw it, a light, a fire in the distance.
Stay here. I've seen a fire. Maybe I can bring back something burning, or find someone who knows the way out of this darkness.
He wasn't chasing mystery, he was chasing warmth. But when he reached the light, it wasn't what he expected. A bush was engulfed in flames, yet the branches did not blacken and the leaves remained green. It burned, but it wasn't consumed. And then, in the silence of that valley, the direction of his life shifted. Musa alayhi salam was called by name and told to remove his sandals, for he was standing on sacred ground. There, the Lord of the worlds identified himself, declaring that there is no God but he. This was the moment of transformation. Musa alayhi salam was being chosen as a messenger. To prepare him for the mission ahead, Allah turned the tools of a shepherd into the signs of a prophet, proofs that would later shake the very foundations of Egypt. And then the order came: return to Egypt, face Firon. Allah assured him that he would be with him, hearing and seeing. Musa alayhi salam was told to speak to the tyrant with gentleness, a final chance for Firawn to find the truth. And with those words, the mountain stopped being a place on a map. It became the point where history turned. Musa alayhi salam descended from that valley not as a fugitive, but as a messenger, and he was walking back toward the palace, back toward Firon, back toward the man who claimed to be God. Musa alayhi salam came back to Mesa, carrying nothing that a king respects, no army, no wealth, no massive tribe behind him, just a message and a certainty that didn't come from himself. He had once lived inside those walls as a protected child. Now he was walking toward them as a messenger sent to challenge the man who claimed he was God.
State your business. Who gave you leave to approach the palace?
We have come with a message.
Let them through.
Firon didn't rule by speaking loudly. He ruled by making other people feel small before he even opened his mouth. The court didn't react because two men entered. They reacted because two men entered and refused to submit.
So, you came back. And who is this with you? Another fugitive?
This is my brother. And we are messengers from the Lord of the Worlds.
Lord of the Worlds? Look around you. My world is right here. Tell me then, who is this Lord you speak of?
Our Lord is the one who gave everything its form and then guided it.
And this is where Firon tried to do what tyrants always do. He tried to turn the conversation into a trap, because if you can confuse the message, you can avoid the truth.
And what about the generations before you? Where is their Lord now?
Firon wasn't asking because he wanted an answer. He was asking because he wanted control.
Knowledge of that is with my Lord.
You speak like a man with authority.
But you were raised here, in my house. Did we not take you in as a child? Did you not live among us for years? And then you did what you did. You killed a man. You are a criminal who ran away to the desert. And now you come back to talk to me about lordship?
Firon thought this would end the conversation, because most people collapse when their worst moment is dragged into the light. But Musa alayhi salam didn't deny the truth.
I did it when I was unaware, and I fled from you when I feared you. But my Lord granted me wisdom and made me among the messengers.
Then Musa alayhi salam delivered the one thing Firon never expected, a demand, not for himself, for the people Firon had turned into property.
Release the Banī Isrā'īl. Send them with us. So this is it. You want me to hand over my labor, my empire, because a lord in the desert told you to?
Do you hear this? If you have come with proof, show it. Or leave this room in chains.
This was the moment, not a debate anymore, a sign.
Then look!
Fir'awn had seen fear in other people his whole life. He wasn't used to feeling it near his own heart. Then Musa alayhi salam showed them the second sign. The room panicked, not because they saw magic, but because they saw something they couldn't control.
This is magic, nothing more. He is a sorcerer who wants to drive you out of your own land with his tricks.
Firon had to move fast. If the people believed for 1 second, he would lose his throne. He had to turn a miracle into a performance.
What do you say? Shall we let this desert magic go unanswered?
No, my lord. Delay them. Gather the greatest magicians from every city. Let them face him in the open.
Pharaoh's strategy was simple. If the people see a sign and believe, he loses control.
We will meet on the day of the festival, when the sun is high and everyone is watching. Send messengers to every city. Bring me the strongest magicians. We will meet in front of the people.
And when they watch you fall, they will remember who their lord is. So Musa left the throne room the same way he entered it, without bowing. Firon didn't want this confrontation in a quiet hall. He wanted it in front of whole Misr, because in his world, truth wasn't defeated by arguments. It was defeated by public humiliation. Firon chose a day when the city would already be gathered, when people would already be watching, a day of crowds, a day of noise, a day where the winner wouldn't just win a debate, he would win belief. And when the people settled, Firon arrived the way he always did, surrounded by power so no one could forget who owned the ground.
People of Misr, today you will see who speaks truth and who plays tricks. You know what he claims. You know what he wants. So watch carefully.
Firon brought the best magicians he could find, men who weren't just performers, they were a weapon.
If we overcome him, if we end this challenge, will we be rewarded?
Yes.
And you will be among those closest to me.
It wasn't just money, it was status, and status is how Firon bought loyalty. The crowd watched him like you watch a man stepping into a storm.
Musa, shall you go first? Or shall we show you how it's done?
Musa alayhi salam could have rushed to prove himself, but he didn't. He let falsehood show itself fully before he crushed it.
Enough waiting, show us your power. You throw.
And when they cast them, the ground changed. It looked like the ropes moved. It looked like the staffs lived. It looked like the earth was suddenly crawling.
They're snakes! Snakes!
That is the power of illusion. It doesn't need to be real. It only needs to be convincing. For an instant, even Musa alayhi salam felt it in his chest. Not doubt in Allah, but the natural fear of a human being standing alone in front of a nation. Then Allah steadied him, not with applause, not with comfort, with certainty.
What you have brought is only a trick. Allah will expose it.
And this is where the entire square learned the difference between a trick and a sign. The ropes vanish, the illusion collapses, the magicians' faces change instantly because they know their own craft, they know what can be faked, and they know what cannot.
We believe in the Lord of Musa and Harun.
This was the one thing Firon hadn't calculated. He expected the crowd to be amazed. He did not expect his own weapon to surrender.
You chose him without my permission? This is a plot. He trained you for this. So you'd turn the people against me and weaken my rule? You see? This is exactly what he wants. I will cut off your hands and your feet, opposite sides, and I will crucify you. You will learn whose punishment is more lasting.
This is what Firon did when he couldn't defeat belief. He punished it publicly, so everyone else would learn fear again.
Do what you will. We will not choose you over what has come to us. Take them away!
Egypt had just watched truth swallow illusion, and Firon answered it the only way a false god can, by spilling fear into the streets. That day in the square should have ended the story. Falsehood had been swallowed whole. But when a tyrant is humiliated in public, he doesn't surrender. He doubles down.
My lord, the people saw it. If they start believing him...
Then we give them something else to talk about. If they have time to wonder about Musa, it's because their lives are too easy. Tighten the chains. Double the work.
Because if Firon couldn't break Musa alayhi salam in public, he would break the people Musa alayhi salam came for. And when a tyrant doubles down after truth humiliates him, the next stage is never debate, it is punishment. The warning was over. The punishment had begun. One by one, the signs hit Egypt. The water turned to blood. Plagues of insects devoured the crops. The very air seemed to turn against the empire. Each time a disaster struck, Firon would beg Musa alayhi salam to make it stop, promising freedom. But as soon as the sky cleared, his heart turned back to stone. He wasn't just fighting a man anymore. He was fighting the Lord of the Worlds, and he was losing. Then came the final command. No more signs, no more debates. It was time to leave. Under the cover of darkness, Musa alayhi salam led his people out of the city. Thousands of men, women and children moving in a silence so deep you could hear their heartbeats. They weren't just leaving a city, they left generations of slavery.
Gather every horse, every chariot, every man who can march. Bring them back, now!
By sunrise, the Banī Isrā'īl were trapped. The mountains were on their sides. The deep water was in front of them, and the most powerful army on earth was closing in from behind.
They're right behind us. We can't go any farther. No. My Lord is with me. He will guide me.
The impossible became a road. The Banī Isrā'īl crossed in awe, walking through the very heart of the sea.
Even the sea obeys me. After them!
Firon thought he was chasing slaves. He didn't realize he was walking into his own grave. Then, the miracle ended. The walls collapsed.
I believe in the Lord of the Banī Isrā'īl.
But it was too late for a king who only found his soul when he lost his breath. Allah preserved the body of Firon, not as a king to be honored, but as a sign for every tyrant who would come after him. The man who claimed to be God is today a museum piece. The man who owned the Nile couldn't buy a single breath of air. The empire of gold is gone, but the message of messenger remains. We leave the shores of the Red Sea behind, but the story doesn't stay in the past. It follows us home. We look at Firon as a villain from a movie, a man who sat on a throne and demanded the world bow to him, and we think that's not me, I'm just a normal person. But Firon is more than a man, he is a pattern. He is what happens when a human being starts to believe their own personal brand more than the truth. Think about how we live today. We spend our lives building. We build our careers, our social media following, our perfect homes and our reputations. And slowly we start to think we own the air we breathe. We hit a milestone and the internal monologue starts. I made this happen, my hustle, my intelligence. We become the architects of our own pyramids, so busy looking at the stones we've laid that we forget the one who gave us the strength to lift them. We think we've built something permanent. But look at the man in the museum. He had the gold, the army, and the monuments that touched the clouds. And today, we forget that the man who owned all of Misr couldn't buy a single extra breath when the water reached his throat. If his empire couldn't protect him, what makes us think our status can protect us? The ultimate irony of this story is that the man who claimed to be the highest power ended up at the lowest point of the ocean, while the man who was willing to put his forehead on the ground is the one who reached the stars. Don't be the person who only realizes they are a guest when the lease is up. Be the person who bows while breath is still in your chest. I didn't make this video to give you a history lesson. I made it because I'm tired of seeing the Quran treated like a silent book on a shelf. We live in an age of digital noise where arrogance gets the most views. My goal for Deen Story TV is to reclaim the screen, to make the stories of the Quran and our prophets the highest quality content on your feed, so that the truth isn't just available, but undeniable. If you believe this work needs to exist, I need you to do more than just watch. Be the messenger. Share this. Don't let the algorithm decide who sees this. Let this be a sadaqah jariyah that speaks for you when you can't. And for those who want to help us produce these videos with the quality they deserve, check the link in the description to join our community. Your support is the engine behind this dawah. It allows us to compete with the distractions of the world and put the message of Islam back where it belongs, in the hearts of the people. Subscribe if you're with us. Tell me in the comments, which part of Firawn's mindset do you see most in the world today? Jazakallah khair for your time. Stay humble, stay grounded. Assalamu alaikum.